I've been a realtor since 1997. So 27 years now, all of a sudden, life just goes by in a blink of an eye, right? It seems like it's been my whole career, and in other ways it's just like, wow, can't believe it's been that many years. I have been at Keller Williams Realty here since it opened in 2003. I was one of the original 5 people with Sam Raffay. I won't name all of them, but Rhodes Quijano is still around. A couple of them have moved on and retired, but it's the best office, and Keller Williams is the best place to get your start in your real estate career because of their training and their education and their programs and the classes and the mentorship that you can have, so you can just thrive as an individual, join a team or join a group and succeed at whatever level you choose to be at in real estate. So I wish all of you the best in your real estate career, and I'm glad you're here today. I hope I can give you a few words of wisdom and that we can kind of learn and grow together in the next couple hours, or maybe a little less, but we'll see how the class goes.
All right. The clicker is right there, so you can move right into the slides.
Okay. This class is called Connect with Your Market. Session 3. We're going to talk about knowing your market, utilizing resources, daily success habits, build your expertise, and recap with ahas. Here's the truth. If it has been done in another market, it can be done in your market. Once it has been done, no matter where, it's just a matter of finding out how that can be possible in your world. That was said by Gary Keller in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. Gary Keller is the founder of Keller Williams Realty. I'm sure you guys have heard that. I think what that means to me is just no matter what is done in real estate, it's not really magic potion. It's just hard work and doing the things that we learn to do, meeting people, keeping in touch with clients. You're going to learn with every transaction, every contract, every negotiation is a little bit different. But I think what this speaks to me is whether you're doing social media, whether your niche is Facebook or Instagram or posting, or it's doing open houses every single weekend, or it's being involved in a church where you meet a lot of clients there, or you follow up with your friends, clients, database, whatever it is you do, whatever your niche is, that's what you have to focus on. Yes.
So I'm curious, Leslie. So I met Leslie a long time ago. I met Leslie, your signs were all over the place. Right? You had a pretty big team. What was the name of your team?
Elite Signature Partners, that one back in the day, yes.
So what do you think, how would you tie that quote into this? What do you think was one of the things that your niche, or one of the things that you did that you really honed in on? Was it REOs? Was it open houses, sphere of influence, a little bit of everything?
Yeah, good question, JD. Back in 2000, I mean, this is going way back, but 2008 to about 2013, I had a team with a gentleman named Ryan McCarty, and we were Elite Signature Partners. We formed a group together. We had our own assistants and our own team leader, our own lead generator, our own transaction coordinator, someone who answered a separate line, signs everywhere, and as JD said, we were fortunate that we got into, I shouldn't say or unfortunate, but that we got into the REO market, which was real estate owned properties foreclosures. And at one point we had 67 active listings. It was absolutely crazy to keep up with, but we ran our system then as a group, meaning like everyone on our team, on our group, had their own job, and we were extremely busy. I could go on for half an hour about the REO market and the vacancies and trash outs and the fees you have to pay with the bank and the reimbursements and the follow-up and the leads and selling them, because It was just a totally different market than we're in today, obviously. For me, we dissolved the group, and Ryan had left Keller Williams Realty at that time, my partner, and I just went back to having a buyer's agent and a full-time assistant, because for me it made more sense, more manageable lifestyle, time, and again, running a group is great if that's what your goal is. There are people here like Thomas Velasquez, who's just a superstar and has a very large group of agents. But for me, I want at this point in my career and this point in my life, I want my time to be a little more manageable and kind of work the business by referrals that comes to me. But if you choose to move up and have a team and then eventually a group, then I would suggest keep going to classes, read the Millionaire Real Estate book, because it'll outline step by step by step as you can grow as an individual into a team and then a group.
I heard you say something, and I've seen you do this in your business. Everyone had a role, and everyone was really good at the role, and I think even at this point, you still kind of have like key factors roles, like you've always had like an assistant or something that is really great at what they do. So is that something like a system that you guys had that is duplicate, like someone could go and do the same thing too? It's just finding the talent, I guess?
Yeah, definitely they say hire your weakness or find that talent. But I know are you at the beginning of your real estate career? Most of you?
I think most of us are.
That are in the room today. I think, as JD said, would be a great, I highly, highly recommend you join a team or a group in the beginning, because you will just grow and learn with all the training and the mentorship and the contracts and the negotiations and the in and outs. You can get your real estate license and take the test, but until you're actually selling real estate and learning each transaction is so different. So I think that's a great idea. You're in the right office to do that. Yes, you're on a 50% split most of the time to start, but again, the knowledge and the skills and the experience that you will gain are just, I don't think you could put a dollar amount on that. So if you feel better about doing that, you can certainly start as an individual. As JD mentioned, yeah, having an assistant is just imperative. But I think it's hard to have an assistant in the very beginning until you have the business. Because as you know, you're paying for signs, you're paying for business cards, you're trying to figure out whatever job you have and going into this full-time and having an income. But that's definitely the first step, is having an assistant who can help you with your marketing and or whatever your lead generation skills are going to be, and help you with your transactions so that you can focus on working with buyers and sellers. That's the idea behind that. But again, that's probably the second step.
Awesome.
And the 7 steps, right?
Oh yeah, there's a whole 7th level. Each level is something different. At that time, you had the whole 7th level, right, Leslie?
Yes, we were at the 7th level, which is pretty overwhelming and consuming, as far as like you have to be on it and willing to work full time and show up every day, and it was a lot. It was a lot to keep up with the REO real estate market, and it's just unbelievable to have that many listings. Like you're just going all day, every day. But yet it's great. I learned a lot. Real estate has been an incredible, fabulous career for me. And I don't want to go off subject too much, but what Sam Raffay, who you probably all met, our like broker owner, he taught me many, many years ago, you need to invest in real estate to be able to retire someday. And so you definitely want to try to do that. It's a different subject, but whenever you can, if you have an opportunity to buy real estate and invest in it, I highly, highly recommend that too.
So to kind of sum this up here, where it says, once it has been done, no matter where, it's just a matter of finding out how, right? So could you literally say what you've done can be done again?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
You're right on, 100%. Like if I can do it, I don't want to make it too about me, but when I came into this, I was a single mom in 1997 with 3 young children, unfortunately had divorced. So I needed a way, I don't know if you know that, I needed a way to support my family. I wasn't really getting help from my ex-husband, and it was just, working as a dental assistant at the time and a waitress, it was super tough to get by. So like a lot of you, maybe I just needed a way to be able to support myself and not just survive, but thrive and raise my children. So I had the motivation. And I think most people, when they come into real estate, you have to have that big why and the motivation to keep going. Because I think the hardest time in real estate for me personally, I'll be honest, is the very beginning. It's learning, it's growing, it's how do I do this, how do I do contracts, how do I negotiate, what happens, what's the termite report, what's dry rot, what requests for repairs are really fair and are really frivolous, and should it be paid by the seller? How do I do that? What type of financing? What's the difference with FHA loan, conventional, VA? Like, you're just going to continue to learn and grow, again, as you go through real estate. But I think the beginning is the challenging part, to find those clients and establish relationships so you can start to work with buyers and sellers. And JD has said it, keeps coming back to this. Whatever has been done before, you can do it again. It's just finding your niche and what you're good at and the way that you're going to grow in your real estate career.
That being said, you got to know your market statistics, right, Leslie?
Right. Know your market. Knowing and connecting with your market. It's all about research and preparation, talking to people, because you are going to be the expert in your market, right? Your clients, one of the number one things is your buyers, your sellers, they have to trust you to be the real estate professional. But of course, in the beginning, you might not be confident in that, so you can use the statistics at the office, but you can learn and grow and hopefully have a buyer, a seller who maybe trusts you and just knows you're new in real estate and wants to work with you, right? Or you have a relationship with them and they just know you're going to do a good job, and you tell them that you have the resources to help them all the way through it. Or you can do the old saying, fake it until you make it, and maybe you don't tell them you're brand new. I did tell them the truth with my first few clients because I was comfortable to do that, but whatever works for you, right, on that. So there are 3 types of real estate markets. There's a buyer's market, a balanced market, and a seller's market. A buyer's market, more than 7 months of inventory. A balanced market is 5 to 7 months of inventory. Seller's market is less than 5 months of inventory. So this is very important. You want to know your market. Does anyone want to speak on what the kind of market they think we're in now?
Seller's market.
Everyone in the room agree, and you've heard that?
Yes.
Okay. I think we are still in a seller's market, but my professional opinion is that we're kind of moving into a balanced market. I'm seeing a lot of changes this last year, more or less the last 6 months. It's hard to tell, but I can tell you that since 2012, we have been going up, which is 12 years. That's unheard of in the history of real estate. We usually have a real estate adjustment every 7 to 9 years. So what that says is we're overdue for an adjustment. However, during the COVID market, a lot of people thought the market's going to crash, right? It has to crash. But it didn't. It kept falling, and it was a frenzy, and houses were selling, and interest rates were 2.5%, 3%, and it was just insane. People were paying $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 over list price, removing all contingencies when they wrote an offer, like nothing we have ever seen, right? Just unprecedented market. So now, we keep hearing it's going to adjust, but it keeps going. And interest rates have gone from that historically low 3%, 2.5% for a quick minute, to 3%, where now we're close to 6.5%, 7% today for a fixed 30-year loan. With that being said, and the prices being high, what I'm seeing now is all of a sudden, just again, pretty recently, sellers are paying closing costs for buyers. We haven't seen that the last few years. Sellers are paying buy downs for the buyers, right? So that I think is beginning of a little bit of an adjustment. I'm just giving you my opinion. I don't know for sure because we've been hearing the last few years it's going to adjust, but I think that we are still in a seller's market because of the inventory we have. We have, who knows, this is about knowing your market statistics. Who knows how many houses we have on the market today in Gowin? Does anybody look at that?
Right under 800,
Yeah.
like 790.
Yeah, very good. So in Gowin, Greater Antelope Valley Association of Realtors, our local real estate MLS, there are 795 active homes. That's in all areas though. So that's still extremely low inventory. But I've been watching this because that's our job. And you're going to hear about it in our office meetings too if you don't want to check it yourself. We have gone from 400 to 500 consistently the last few years to going up to 550, 650, 7. We were over 800 a few days ago. We're back at 795. So that's still extremely low inventory, but I'm starting to see that change. So it doesn't mean we're going to all of a sudden go to balanced market and buyer's market, but the inventory seems to be increasing, meaning this could be the beginning of an adjustment. Why? Because when you have super high interest rate, not super high, historically, the interest rates the last 40 years, 8.2% average. But people think they're high. They're not really high, they're just high compared to what they were the last 5 years, right? So now we have these high prices and higher interest rates and high payments. It's an affordability factor. That's all it is. So the market could keep going. I personally think, I'm not going to get political today, but things are going to change next year after the election year, right? We don't know who's going to get in office for sure, but usually things change after an election year. So then we'll just see, are interest rates going to come down? Are they going to keep going up? Are prices going to adjust a little bit? Because it's also about that affordability. So do you know how many approximately pending homes we have today? Homes in escrow? No. Okay, it's 413. So 795 active, about half, a little more than a half, in escrow. I was seeing that number higher than the actives the last 3 years. Super tight inventory, multiple offers. Now I'm not saying, I don't want you to go to JD or whoever Drew Hawkins goes, she said the market's crashing. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I'm seeing the numbers adjust. Now what's going to happen? No one knows. If interest rates come down a little bit, and this is how I talk to my buyers, my sellers, buyers, you want to tell them it's always a good time to invest in real estate because it is. And long term, they're going to be fine, right? So it depends on who you're talking to. And I truly believe that. But with the pending sales, and we have the last 3 months and 6-4, how many closed do you think? How many closed sales? Anyone want to guess? No.
600. Just random guess.
Good guess. Yeah. I don't mean to put you on the spot. It's 903. So that means about 300 closed sales a month, right? That's pretty good. It's still good. The market is moving. But what I'm seeing is it's not as active and there's just fewer buyers. So the market in real estate is always about supply and demand, meaning depending on the inventory, that depends on what buyers are going to write on a home. If there's multiple offers, the sellers are going to get more money. If their homes are sitting for longer, then that means they're gonna negotiate more. That's all it is. So certain homes are still selling the first week, multiple offers pull home price to sell, but if sellers are pushing the pricing at all, like they still want to, then I feel like that might take a little bit longer for them to sell. That's all. But it's still moving. So yes, you are right. We are in a seller's market. Why? Because we have less than 5 months of inventory. Balanced market, 5 to 7 months of inventory. We have less than 5 months of inventory right now, based on our numbers. So let's talk about that. Inventory is the number of properties for sale within a market. What is the inventory of a market? We just talked about that, 795 in Gowin. Now, we have, how many of you have heard of SRA? Okay, it's Southland Regional Association of Realtors. That's an MLS that goes San Fernando Valley, Valencia, Orange County, all the way, covers Corona, like a lot of Southern California, where their numbers, I don't keep track of. I buy Gowin because it's a local MLS, but if you look there, you're going to see like 30,000 plus realtors in that MLS. So this inventory doesn't include all of the homes listed in Palmdale, Lancaster, Quartz Hill, Little Rock, Mojave, Lake LA, Rosemont, because some realtors that are not local actually just put the homes on SRAR, meaning they only put it on that MLS, which I don't agree with. So use that when you have a listing appointment and you meet with the seller. Make sure you explain to them that you're going to put it on, hopefully, KWAV and SRA or MLS, 2 MLSs, and they're going to get the best exposure, the most exposure possible by hiring you as their agent because you live here and you're a local agent. I talk about that all the time. These agents drive from LA, they list a home, they go back to LA, and that's it. They put on an SRA and they don't even come out here. They know your local market, right? So that's going to help you. What is the average number of days a home stays on the market? Does anyone want to take a guess on that today?
38.
Well, that's good. He knows. Really good. You're up on it. 42.2. That's just today. That adjusts higher, lower, right? So that some houses, again, sell in the first few days, the first week, you're going to call they're pending, but average days are 42. So that's for every home. So some are less, but some are obviously going to be longer. What is the average price a home in your market sells for?
445.
I came up with $502,666, and that's under the, I'll talk about that, but the market summary, you know, you can go on Gowin. All of you should do this at the top where you scroll and you can hit quick search and menu, and if you go all the way across to market summary, you can click on it. You can bring it up for different months, different years, or I brought it up last night for this class specifically for August 2024. That's what it was based on, the average sales price. There's a median sales price, average sales price, so there could be some differences there. But if you're like, how do I get these stats? That's what I did. So you can go in there on Gowin and go to market summary, and then all of a sudden, when you're talking, if you have a listing appointment and you want to talk to your seller and have some knowledge, you can go to that market summary the night before and be prepared to talk to them about the inventory, the market, the sales, the average days on market. And then you can sound like not only a professional that you are, but an expert in the market today, right? Based on the inventory, what type of real estate market are you in? Well, we kind of talked about that as seller's market, balanced market, or buyer's market. And we are still considered to be in a seller's market. Let's talk about an absorption rate. Absorption rate means the number of months it takes to sell all of our homes that are on the market if the market continued at the same pace that it is today. So our absorption rate Anybody want to guess what that would be?
3.2.
You know your stats.
Yeah.
You work with JD,
I check them
right?
every day.
Very good. Okay, last night it showed 3.12, but again, 3.12, 3.2. Yeah, I'm sure it changes. It changes a little bit depending if you're looking at monthly or daily,
Yeah.
right? Because so you could be right on. A year ago, we were at, anyone want to guess? A year ago. This is what I was talking about the inventory, and how I don't know if anyone's told you this, but that the inventory is going up, and the difference of the absorption rate. So a year ago, we were in a different market. Again, the market today is very, very good. It's not a bad market, but I think it's a little slower. Why? Because of high prices, higher interest rates, right? Affordability factors for buyers today. So a year ago, it was 2.24, meaning what I had mentioned, if we had for 500, 600, 5 to 600, I think we're at, as opposed to 800 homes, that's a big difference of when you do a search, how many homes you could bring up for buyers to look at, right? So we hope that inventory stays low because everyone wins in a seller's market. Sellers win, buyers win, the market keeps moving. It's great for realtors, right? It's great for lenders, great for escrow title companies. Everyone's busy, everyone's happy, right? When the market's slower, then it's a little more challenging. Let's talk a little bit about interest rates and lender regulations. Make contacts with lenders in your area so you can stay up to date on your market and answer any questions your clients may have about the process. Have any of you sold a home yet? Okay, so you have sold a home. Do most of you or any of you have like a lender that you're working with? A lender to pre-approve your buyers? Okay, that's something you want to do. You can ask a lender to sit with you at an open house. I don't know all the new rules for the open houses, so we have to be careful. I know because of the new, like, the buyer broker agreements and sellers don't have to pay the buyer's commissions. I feel they're going to end up paying the buyer's commissions, but it's just going to be negotiated a little bit different when you write the offer. But in all the years I've done real estate, open houses have been a great lead generation for me. So if you're able to sit in an open house, I've heard you have to have a full disclosure and a buyer broker agreement, or let them look through the house and let them know that if they want to talk to you about that particular home, they need to sign the agreement, right? But you're happy to work with them. So check with JD or whoever is your actual trainer who you're working with or mentor, right? But it's a good idea to have a lender there with you. I used to do that in many, many years past. And it was great because the lender could talk to the buyers right there and get the ball rolling, pre-qualified, pre-approve them. But if you don't have a lender yet, that's okay. You can talk to different lenders who you feel comfortable with. I ended up keeping a relationship with my lender for 25 years. It's Craig McConaughey at Guild Mortgage. He's 35 years of experience, and I just always ended up going back to him because my past clients, when they would come back and sell and buy, just to have the relationship with a lender. You can work with different lenders. If you want to work with Hadia and Carol, your local in-house lenders, you want to work with someone who's in Ridgecrest, a preferred lender, or whoever it is. But it's nice to have someone you could call, text, at night, weekends when you really need them and you have questions about a pre-approval, about financing, about talking to a buyer that you've met or who might have called you, right? Or who you got a Zillow lead from. If you do Zillow, whatever, on your website, whatever it is, it's always good to have that vendor to call them. Because with any buyer you want, the first thing you want to do is get them pre-qualified or pre-approved, right? So who knows what types of loans there are, different types of loans. And you guys will learn more about loans and financing the more that you sell real estate. Does anyone want to answer that?
Conventional.
Right?
FHA.
FHA,
USDA.
USDA. and VA, very good. Or, of course, they get paid cash. Usually the all cash people are investors, people that want a good deal. Once in a while you have a buyer, an older couple who wants to pay cash for a house and not have a house payment, but I think the majority of sales are more investors seeking all cash, possibly investing to buy it and flip too. It's a whole different market. But you have FHA, you have VA, you have conventional USDA. So FHA is 3.5% down. You want to know that. VA is 100% financing for our veterans. Conventional can be 5%, 10, 20%, 50% down. So that down payment can vary. But you always want to make sure, I've done this so many times. Learn from my mistakes. People you meet, they'll say, oh yeah, we have the money, we have excellent credit, we have this, we have that, we're getting a settlement, we have a lawsuit, we're going to have $500,000 within a month. I have believed people so many times. Learn from my mistakes, as I said. It's so hard because you want to believe them, but have them talk to a lender or tell them you have to have the verification of their cash. You have to have that in an account before you can show them a house, that the sellers require that proof of funds before you can show them a house. In COVID, we had to have a pre-approval letter before we could show them a house. I loved that because we could blame it on COVID, we could blame it on the market. And you couldn't even just schedule one appointment and show them as a courtesy a home. You had to have a pre-approval letter to show them a house. And we've all, sometimes you just put the time in, and if you know someone and you know they just want to look at a few homes, okay. It's going to be a little trickier today with the buyer's agent and the buyer broker agreements that you have to sign and making those appointments, but it's totally up to you if you know them and trust them and just want to show them some homes because they want to get to know the market. But it's always best if you can have them talk to a lender as soon as possible, because payments today, I'm seeing them anywhere from $4,000 to $7,000 a month. That's PITI, principal, insurance, tax, and interest. That's an average payment today to buy a home in the Antelope Valley. I don't know. You can do a buy down, but I don't know. Are you seeing $3,000, $3,500 payments with buy downs? Maybe in a $300,000 price point, way, outside of town. If you could go to Mojave or Lake LA, but if you're going to buy in Palmdale, Lancaster, $500,000 average starter home, that's where your payment's going to be. So you don't want them to think we want them to buy a house, but it's better that they know what their payment options are, unless they're putting a lot of money down, which most of our buyers out here, they're 100% financing VA or FHA or 3.5% down. So yeah, they're pretty challenging. Yeah, but again, there's buy down, but the seller has to pay that, and we'll just be careful of taking them out and spending a lot of time, because it's better for them, it's better for you, it's better for everyone. Sorry, Ridgecrest is more affordable, so maybe they can get a home out there for $2,500 to $3,500 a month. But the last 6 homes I've sold on my buyers, and the sellers I was representing, the buyers, that's where their payments were. Even my 2 were FHA buyers. That's where their payments were. Low for $4,200 and $4,700 for an FHA loan, and that was $501,000 and $575,000 in Lancaster. So I don't know. Again, you could go Rosemont's more affordable, California City's more affordable. Of course, like Los Angeles, more affordable price point, Ridgecrest. So I guess you can get a more affordable payment, but if you're buying right in town, that's realistically what they're going to be looking at. Does that make sense? Yeah. Of course, if they can put $200,000 down, everything I just said goes out the window. But most buyers don't, most buyers are trying to put a minimum amount down and possibly get the closing costs paid by the seller. Any questions on that, or does anyone want to talk about financing?
I just had a question. You said who your lender was and what company was it again?
Craig McConaughey at Guild Mortgage.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's in Lancaster. He's been out here, at least 35 years. He's the owner manager at Guild, so I like him. He's very reputable. And when you're in a super competitive market and there's multiple offers, it really helps to have a local lender that is trusted and respected. I can't tell you how many times that it's made a difference of getting my offer accepted, as opposed to, I just had one, ironically. I said I'm not seeing multiple offers, but you still are. The $501,000 home, I had a buyer, East Lancaster, beautiful pool spa home. There were 5 offers in the first 3 days. Now, this is 60 days ago, but still. And we went over list price 480, went to 501, and we ended up getting our offer accepted. But the listing agent told me that one of the reasons they accepted our offer was because we had a local lender and the conversations he had with the lenders. And they were an FHA, 3.5% down buyer. So credit, not over the top, but the lender convinced him that we were going to be a great buyer, not have issues, problems, be able to get the appraisal done, which we did, and be able to close in 45 days, which we did. So he went with our offer. So it was the things I said, but it was also the lender that helped convince him that we were the best choice for out of the 5 offers they had.
That goes answer the phone. Was there
Exactly. There's so many lenders they just, and that's fine. If they choose to be off at night or the weekends and they're not going to answer the phone. But I have Craig's cell phone number, and I'm telling you, over all the years, I'm not working as much today. I'm not full time, even though I'm still an active real estate agent. My business kind of, when I'm very busy right now, I'm blessed, so that I'm working a lot. But if I'm not working as much, I'm kind of okay with that at my age and at this point in my life. But you want a lender, no matter what, that will answer the phone on the weekends, maybe give you their cell and be able to communicate with you and call your buyer right away. And Craig has always done that for me for almost 30 years. So whoever your lender is, make sure you have a good relationship with them. And there's a lot of good ones out there. Yeah, Ken Lawrence I worked with for a lot of years, Kathy Federico, Hadia and Carol are in the office here. They're great too.
If I can circle back just for 1 second on the inventory portion. So, Gowin, yes, I hear what you're saying on the, I'm not based out of Apache, so I use a different, we utilize around Tony.
Right, you have a different MLS than Tehachapi, yes.
Yeah, but what I'd be curious about, so does NAR offer these statistics as well, so that way you can see nationwide? Like, obviously it's contingent on the area, right? One area might be more of a balanced market where, some other area might be a seller's market or buyer's market. Does anyone at the office, does anyone know how to utilize NAR? Because I've heard people in the past talk about those statistics. I just don't know where to find them.
I apologize, I got a little distracted kind of reading. There were questions and comments regarding, on Zoom. So what your question was is on Rapid Tony and Tehachapi a way to get those statistics about a buyer's or seller's market, and you're wondering if anyone else has access to that and can help you with that? Is that the question?
Yeah, well, I don't know. So, okay, Gowin, does that show the nation, or is that something I need to find on NAR?
I I have not sold in Tehachapi. I've been out there, I know where it is, but again, that's kind of like its own niche, its own different market. I think a lot of realtors from here do go out and sell in Tehachapi, but I think a lot of people that sell in Tehachapi live in Tehachapi. So I apologize, I'm not familiar with Rapatoni, but I'm sure, does anyone know Rapatoni?
Actually, he can find the nationwide information in Gowin. I think that was his question.
The nationwide information in Gowin.
There's a, I don't know if he's a lender or a mortgage broker or what he does, but it's called the Altos Report. He does like a YouTube, it's like a 15-minute YouTube video, yeah, on the whole nation, pretty much, of sales price and days on market and everything like that. So if he wants to look that up, that could probably work too. The Altos Report, it's ALTOS.
ALTOS, yes. I used to get those too. Frank Donato used to send those all the time.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
And I know he retired now to Florida. But you know who could probably help you with that? Stacy, the Monarch title rep. She would be an excellent person to reach out to ask about market statistics and where you can get them. Or even ask Drew Hawkins, because I'm sure Alta's report is a great idea. But I think there's a way to bring it up in Rapatoni and your local MLS in Tehachapi. They have to have market statistics there because they're on SRAR too. I hope that helps.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Okay, let's talk about some economic factors. And by the way, sorry when I'm talking and looking at the class and the screen, I don't know, I haven't seen, Nathaniel, you said you had a question when there's an opening about a seller's market. Did we cover that?
Yes, that was a question I just asked.
Okay. Also, you guys just unmute yourself and ask a question anytime if you have one. I'd like the class to be interactive, so feel free to make a comment or ask a question if you have one. Let's talk about the economic factors. They play an important role in an agent's understanding of the market, of course. And that's going to constantly be changing too. So you're going to find when you're selling real estate that you're always going to be active and learning and wanting to know what's going on in the market because your sellers want to know. And you're going to have conversations with them about it. So you need to be the expert. So you have to continue to educate yourself too. What is the employment? This may or may not come up, but what is the unemployment rate in our market? I didn't know this, so I looked it up last night, and it says it's 4.3%. A year ago, it was 3.7%. How many workers are entering or exiting the workforce in your market? Anyone have a comment on that or a guess? I've read that it's both. There's a lot of people exiting. As you know, you've probably heard we have so many people leaving California, leaving the state, but we also have a lot of people coming into California. So I read it's kind of both. It's mixed there, that our population is still staying the same. It's not really going down, even though the majority of my sales the last 5 years have been people my age, which is in my mid-60s now. All of a sudden they're retiring, leaving the state. I don't know how that happened, but they're going to Idaho and Oregon, Washington, Arizona. Texas is a big one too, Tennessee and Florida. I've had people move to every single one of those states and they've left California. And the two sales I just talked about with buyers that I had, both those sellers were retiring and leaving the state. Even though the buyers, the buyers I have were staying here, obviously. So it's both. We're seeing people always coming and wanting to buy a home here for affordability, and certainly in Ridgecrest and other outlying areas for affordability instead of LA. But we're seeing people want out of California because of the high cost of living here. What is the growth rate of our community? So I looked up the total population in the Antelope Valley. It was saying in 2021 with 392,291 in all areas, but that it is approximately 400,000 today. Now, I'm sure if you look somewhere else, that could vary depending on your stats, but this surprised me. The projections for the Antelope Valley, it said, is 538,000 total by the end of 2024. So it depends on where you're reading and who you're going to trust on those stats. Of course, it's going to vary depending on who does the survey. But this was what surprised me. It said the population of the Antelope Valley is expected to reach 1.1 million, 1,174,000 by 2035.
Our streets won't take. Our streets.
I know,
won't be.
and you're seeing building, new houses, and I always say, who's buying these houses?
Just today-
People are all leaving, people are coming here, so.
Actually, I live at North and I drive my kid to St. Mary's, which is on the east side of
Right,
Cambridge.
right.
It takes me about 17 minutes. Today, this didn't seem to be anything like an accident or anything. It took me 25 minutes to get to there. So it's in all these ways it's been like that.
Yeah, it is really changing. Maybe they do know what they're talking about, whoever they is, because look at the freeways. They're completely redoing all the freeways and changing all the lanes. They're horrible and the traffic's awful, but they're supposed to be opening more lanes and making it more.
I've heard also that that yard that they have is, what is it called? San Pedro, where they keep all the containers, that they purchased a big lot in Mojave, and that's when they were expanding the freeway because one of the lanes was gonna be for traders. Do you know if that's true or not?
No, I have not heard that.
Okay,
I don't
well,
know. I thought our freeway wasn't that bad compared to other freeways that I drive on. I was kind of surprised that they're doing that, and it's going to be torn up to 2026 because we never had a problem with traffic up here on the 14, and now, as you know, you could be going Palmdale, Lancaster, Palmdale. You have to make sure you allow an extra 15 minutes because you could get caught up, and it's. But when they're done, it's supposedly going to be really nice. We'll see. And maybe that's true about the population. We have, how has the government made any changes to rules and regulations that might affect the housing market? Well, they called COVID in 2021 the Great Resignation. Have you guys heard that? Like there were a lot of people leaving their jobs during COVID, and people got used to working from home and not being out as much, and the routine of just going to the office every single day, or their job, their business, whatever they were doing. So in 2023, I read that 44 million people quit their jobs. But there are 10.5 million jobs open today across the United States. Years ago, you couldn't even find a job, right? You couldn't, even a minimum wage job, they weren't hiring. Now, it's like every other business, they're looking for help. Restaurants and fast foods and stores, they're hiring. So it was never like that before. It was difficult to get a minimum wage job. It was difficult to get your first job. Hiring rates are higher today than quit rates across the board. So we will see what happens, but as you all know, a lot of people, I know at least 10 people I can name right now that all work from home. Lockheed, Northrop, good jobs. Not necessarily teachers, they're still showing up and not working from home like they were during COVID, but there are a lot of jobs where they're allowed to just work from home now and be on their computer, and people seem to like that. Even good paying jobs. So I don't know about the economic factors in that, but as far as our population goes, the statistics are that we're going to continue to grow. So you're in a good place selling real estate, because one thing I can say I've learned is whether we're in that buyer's market or the balanced market, a market adjusting, or a seller's market, there's always people that need to buy and sell real estate. Whether your interest rates are 2.5% or they're up at 13% like they were in 1978, there's always people that have to buy a home. There's always people that need to sell, right? Why? Divorce, job relocation, hardship, leaving the area, right? Retirement. So no matter what market we're in, you have a perfect career that you're going into, because there's always people that are going to need your help because life just changes. I've always told my buyers, long term, it's a fantastic idea to invest in real estate. Why? Because all of you can look back on what your parents bought a home for, right? Or maybe your grandparents. And today, that home is worth way more money than decades ago. It goes up, down, but if you look back from 10, 20, 40 years ago, the numbers are incredible. They're astronomical. So the longer you keep a home, even if the market does go down and adjust, as long as you stay in it, it's going to come back up and be worth more money, in my opinion. I almost guarantee, because I've seen this happening for 64 years, and I can look what my parents bought a home for and my grandparents and where they're at today. They're no longer with us, unfortunately, about what those homes are worth today that I look up on Zillow. It's just crazy, that they bought a home for $25,000 and that home is $1.7 million today. So that was in Orange County, but still, so I believe, and I can tell people when my buyers ask, well, it's going to go down, I'm waiting for the market to go down, I'm waiting for interest rates to go down. Interest rates might go up. I would always say, invest in real estate, because long term, that's going to come back to you. It absolutely is. So that's what I can say to your buyers today, even though I think our market might adjust because we're kind of overdue for that to happen. Any comments, questions on that, on economic factors? Everything we just discussed about unemployment, growth rates, government changes.
Did you share with us the resources that you used, Leslie?
I just went over, JD, all the research I did, the 3 types of real estate markets, buyer's market, balanced market, seller's market, all the stats. I did all this.
Nice.
Inventory, market summaries, absorption rates, interest rates, talked about all the different loans.
Good.
Economic factors, employment.
Man.
And the growth rate in the community, and how many people live here today and what's happened and projected in the AV. We've talked about that. I was honest with them. I said, no one knows for sure, but I think that we're definitely seeing an increase in inventory. Mm-hmm. That's what's activated, pending, and closed in 3 months. And my opinion is that we're kind of between a seller's market and a balanced market.
Yeah, we are trending in a buyer's market, towards a buyer's market. Technically, I think it's still a seller's market.
Exactly.
Depending on the scale, because everyone does something different.
Right.
Absorption rate, right? You guys will learn about it.
And that's increasing from a year ago.
I think a balanced market, people will say it's a 4 to 6 month window, right? Right now we're at 3, so we're technically in the seller's market no matter what resource you go.
Yeah.
We were in the 2s and the 1s. We were in strong seller's market, but like you said, inventory's gone up. And so now we're trending toward the buyer's market, but I'm excited to see what's going to happen with the interest rates and talk of it coming down, because the economy isn't doing as good as we thought as far as job creation, unemployment, stuff like that. And so we're probably going to see some rate drops, and that might affect what's going to be happening next. But we'll see. Right now, I mean, Leslie, I'm sure you've seen it go up and down, left and right.
I told them on an average market, we adjust every 7 to 9 years. This is unprecedented that we've been going up since 2012. So we're 12 years. We're overdue for an adjustment. I'm not saying it's going to adjust, and I didn't want to get political. I told them we're not going to discuss the election, even though it's
She's saying go vote Trump.
just
I'm just kidding. I have no idea.
No, he doesn't know By the way, I never comment on
You can
political
vote Biden,
posts.
we don't care.
I
You can vote whatever
comments
you
on
want.
Facebook, social media, I never do, because you're gonna have clients, and I have
Independent.
clients
Oh, yeah.
that are Democratic. Yeah, okay, I'm Republican, but you might not like that, and I'm okay if you
Yeah.
like, well, you're not Biden, but if you like Harris, that's okay, I respect that. But I would suggest as a realtor that you do not make all these political posts on your
Yeah.
Instagram, social media,
Yeah.
no matter what your views are, because people are just so strong in their opinions, one way or the other. You can lose a client or a friend over that.
I think if anything, one good thing to know is the things, the policies that are being put in place or possibly in place that affect our market, our industry.
Exactly.
I'd probably focus on that because that falls right in line with, knowing your economic data and stuff like that, because it's going to be in the conversations. Yeah, I heard they're giving first-time buyers, $500,000.
Yeah, right, well, the taxpayers have to pay that, the money has to come from somewhere. But I told them I didn't want to go political, but I do feel there's going to be an adjustment in the market next year. We don't know for sure, but there always is after an election year.
Yeah.
But what I'm starting to see is that, and you agree, the inventory is going up. We were maintaining 500 to 600 homes. You know what I'm watching? It's gone from 630, 650, 680.
It's very inventory driven.
750, 800, it was 818 a few days ago.
Yeah.
We're down to 795, so
I just want to make sure we're not missing anyone.
I told
Yeah.
them just to talk and ask questions, but we did say, you never know for sure what's gonna happen, and yes, I have heard what JD just said, that interest rates predicted to come down a little bit. My opinion is, I keep saying, because I don't know for sure, I don't think anyone knows for sure, but if they come down 0.25%, 0.5%, even a point in the next 6 months or next year, yeah, the buyers are gonna come out and there's gonna be a frenzy again in the market. So because the prices are high and interest rates are not high, but they're just higher than they have been, again, you're seeing a little resistance just because, in my opinion, the affordability factor is more challenging today.
Well, with that being said, don't forget there's opportunities in all markets.
Yes.
And know your economic factors and the interest rates, everything she's going over right now. It'll help you be that source of real estate. This is a big class.
That there's always people who have to buy and sell real estate, and so many people are moving out of state. But did you know that it's projected that we have 1,174,000 people here in the AV by the year 2035?
Wow, that's big. I didn't know that.
That's why they're still working. I guess they know what they're doing, working on the freeways, because none of us like that. All this traffic, but I mean,
Write that down, guys. Pay attention to your freeway activity.
the
Well, so,
freeway.
Dean Grazioso, he's a big real estate mogul back in the day. He still is. He would monitor the U-Haul. We can do this in command, but he would call U-Hauls to see where they're going and where they're coming from. To find out where the business is coming in, coming out. In command, you guys, you can actually go in there and see where your referrals are going. So you can see where people are going. That'll be a whole other class. What else we
There
got?
was only one question that I could announce from Nathaniel. He's in Tehachapi, and he's on Rapatoni. And I was going and telling them that it's very go-to-market summary, that all these statistics that I printed out last night, reviewed them. A lot of these statistics I shared with them are right there, and how important it is to have that. Sorry, because I'm kind of being redundant, because JD wasn't here.
No worries.
But his question was, how do you do that on Rapatoni? Is that possible? Do you know?
It's possible. We used to have Rapatoni, remember, back in the day,
Yes.
10 years ago?
Yes.
It's possible. I don't know how. Call the board, they'll let you know. But if you want one that's easy,
Carol.
an easy resource, it's not local, but it's national. It's called Altos. They have a
Yes.
YouTube channel. So use Altos. That's what I use.
Nick brought that up.
Oh, there you go. And then you can actually adjust it
Sure,
to zip
yeah.
codes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good
Altos
idea.
report.
Okay,
Anything
so,
else, Leslie? Or you need help
no,
with
I
anything?
think we're good. We're
You
gonna
guys
move
have any
on.
questions? Pick your brains. We've got a lot to share with y'all.
I've asked with we keep trying to interact and ask if they have questions, but Juan knows his stats. He's on it. He has been almost spot on, like with inventory and absorption rate and very, very close on everything.
So do you have a name for your team? For your team, do you have a name?
I might know Leslie Gowin, and I go by Gowin the Extra Mile.
Nice.
I've had that, I don't even know how long, forever. There's so many signs, and someone said it to me many years ago, so, yeah, it's nice if you have a little slogan. You don't have to, but I have it on my business cards and signs. But I am working independently today. I'm just at a point in my career that I did invest in real estate, and I have rentals today that I manage myself. They're not easy. It's not easy. California does not help us at all. The laws are all pro-tenant and not in favor of a landlord. So it's not like, oh yeah, buy a rental, it's a piece of cake, and you're going to have this positive cash flow the rest of your life, because tenants, unfortunately, it can be really challenging if you have to go through an eviction. It could take up to a year and you don't get rent. So I still believe in investing in real estate, but I'm still working selling real estate. But as I said at the beginning of the class, I really highly recommend that you invest in real estate if you get an opportunity to buy and maybe resell the property, flip it if the numbers are there. Go all in, get a partner. If you can't afford to do it yourself, bring someone else in, do it together, learn from that experience, be careful what you buy, right? But if you're gonna invest and have rentals, then it's nice to have that positive cash flow to the income, because that's all we're all looking for someday, just to be able to travel and enjoy our family, right, our children or grandchildren. So I think it's, as JD said, there's always going to be a market for buyers or sellers, and definitely investing too. Other important market factors to investigate. You want to know your neighborhood numbers, like nearby shops and restaurants, when you talk to your buyers and sellers. Especially if they're from out of area and they don't know. If they live here, they probably know. But if they don't know, I mentioned the Antelope Valley Mall, health facilities. We have 2 hospitals, of course, AV Hospital, Palmdale Regional Hospital. We have Kaiser. Yes?
You can go to listreports.com. And if you have a lender, most of them have an account there. They'll print flyers with what's in the area, how many miles to it, like banks, restaurants, shopping, and they're like a flyer form. Listreports.com.
Listreports.com.
Statistics. And Command has, I'm speaking loud so you can hear me over there. Command has Neighborhood Nurture. Neighborhood Nurture, you can send a bi-weekly or monthly email with characteristics on the neighborhood, what you were just describing.
That's great.
Yeah. Well, back in the day we didn't have that, huh, Leslie?
No, we had to know this stuff, and now you can find everything
Go
online.
Visit that stuff. Go visit, we make relationships. Come on in.
So neighborhood attractions, of course, we have movie theaters and LPAC, the Poppy Reserve, things I thought of, the AV Mall, Blackbird, Air Park. So
Like the Fin and Feather, even though they never go, the Fin and Feather brings a lot.
Fin and Feather, yes. We used to have our annual picnic and parties there. Very, very nice.
There one not too long ago, probably about 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, we had quite a few. That's a nice to go to. Also very affordable to join. So you want to know all those things. Any ahas about the real estate market, inventory, interest rates, questions about different types of loans, the economic factors, everything that we've discussed the last 45 minutes or so. Any ahas? Yes.
I think knowing the statistics and just knowing your numbers just adds how much value you bring to your clients. And the more you inform them and educate them, it just brings them, it builds the trust and it makes them want to, it gives them a higher chance of working with you, choosing you as their agent, based on just knowing the statistic. That's not a lot of people take the time to really study. So I think that's pretty cool.
Absolutely. Good point. And it's so true, because they really don't know. Sometimes people, they just want to focus on real estate and selling their home, But again, if things come up and they want to know about the inventory, the market, where you're going to price it, why you recommend that, you can tell them what's going on. Average days on market are 42 days. If they're expecting to sell their home in a week, if they need to sell it quickly, then you can use that statistic to help them to price it to sell to maybe a little bit below market. You want to talk to them up front that buyers are coming in now and asking for closing costs or buy downs. So you don't want to just list the home, get an offer, and then tell them these things. You might want to prepare them depending on where you're pricing it and what, if the home has certain amenities and features like an incredible pool spa and it's over the top and you know there could be multiple offers today, then you don't necessarily have to worry about that. But what I am seeing from every offer I have on my listings and with my buyers today, that they're getting closing costs. Are you seeing that, JD? That they're getting closing costs or buy down or not?
Yep.
So much.
Yep.
It's the first, and we definitely did not see that in the last few years. Like there was no way a seller was giving any concessions. So to me that says that we're seeing a little bit of a shift, but again, we are still in the seller's market and maybe we'll stay there depending on those interest rates and what happens with their inventory.
It's a good time for buyers to buy opportunity. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, people were paying $40,000, $100,000 over asking price.
Yeah, I was telling them.
Yeah, and everyone, they were lining up at the door, right, Leslie?
Yeah, it was and well, I told them it's unprecedented. I don't think we'll ever see a
Yeah.
market like that again.
There'd be 40 people
No
outside of a house.
appraisal, no inspection,
Yeah.
no loan. Did you
Yeah.
see this?
Yeah.
I mean, for over this price, you're like,
Paying $100,000.
it was just insane. Even all the realtors, we were all saying, what is going on? How is this even happening?
Put this into perspective. So at that time, was it a good time to buy? They obviously thought it was. If you look back, it was. You got some equity.
It was,
right?
they still have equity today from 2020, 2021, 2022. During
So-
the COVID years and the craziness, right?
Now you don't have as much competition or no competition, and you can get some concessions to make it less expensive to buy. Is it a good time? Is it a good opportunity to buy? You know, it's all perspective.
Always long term.
I didn't buy in that market though, because if you had a listing, it sold like hotcakes.
Yeah. No, it's my first home. I came out here for affordability in 1990, right, to raise my 3 children. And I told you that I went into real estate 1997, being a single mom. But anyway, we bought a beautiful, big, brand new house in Rancho Vista, $200,000. You know what happened from 1990 to 1998? My house went down after I got it to $125,000. Now that's a huge drop when I bought for $200,000 and I was a first-time buyer. I'm like, and I always heard, oh, real estate's a great investment, great investment. But you know what happened? It came back, and then by the year 2000, we started going up around 2000, and then from 2000 to 2006, the market just was on fire, and that house became worth $500,000, and I sold it. But then it sold again, and the people recently, unfortunately, they lost the home. I went to see it, and I didn't buy it. True story, Elderberry Court, 40406 Elderberry Court, right in the heart of Rancho Vista, put the full spot and everything. Went to see it, thought about buying it to invest, rehab it, flip it. I was worried because I thought the numbers were tight. It needed, I would have been at like 482, and it needed about $125,000 in rehab. The numbers looked like it was worth about $650 for the highest comps in the neighborhood. The people that bought it, I don't know if they'd appreciate me saying their name. They don't hide. They're famous flippers out here. They do a lot of buying and selling. They own their own real estate office out here now. They sold that home for $725,000 because they made it beautiful. So again, be careful when you invest in real estate if you're buying and selling to flip. But it was just amazing. Like it's way higher than anything else in the neighborhood. But why I started to tell that story is what JD said. Are we buying high today? Maybe, but even if the market adjusts the next few years, if it does, No one has a crystal ball for sure. I promise you in 10 years, 15 years, the house is still gonna be worth way more than what they bought it for. Because the value of the dollar becomes less, everything becomes more expensive. I mean, unless something that has not happened for the last 100 years changes, it's gonna be a good investment. So that home from 1990, $200,000, just sold for $725,000. So it's more than triple. More than triple. So can you go wrong buying and selling real estate?
What was that address again? No, I'm serious.
40406 Elderberry Court, Palmdale, 93551. Yeah, and I lived there. I was blessed to live there for 10 years. So the people that bought it are Irene and Philip Mendoza. Yes. Philip Zotti, that's it, Irene Mendoza. And I called them and we talked about it, and we're friends, acquaintances, business associates, I should say. Not really friends, but we know each other. And I know a lot of local people that buy and invest or buy homes and flip homes. And I've kind of gotten into that market the last few years, and that's what I'm trying to do. But that's not easy either. But if you're always out there looking for a deal to buy, an opportunity, someone that doesn't want to put any money into their home. I have it selling right now in East Palmdale. It's in escrow, but I have a lot of activity on it, 67th Street East. And it had a pool, but it was like an above ground pool, but sunk into the ground. So really, really nicely done. Beautiful backyard, but the house needed carpet, paint, appliances, interior, exterior paint. It just was a total, complete fixer-upper. Like the carpet was dirty and ripped and torn and wouldn't finance FHA, right? So we listed it at $499, and it was worth about $540. But if it was totally fixed up. So I didn't think the room was there to buy it and flip it, but I thought it was a good deal for a buyer. Well, an investor came in and bought it. I had a lot of activity on it, and it took at least 3 to 4 weeks to sell, because most buyers went in there. I wasn't trying to disguise the photos. I told the photographer, I'm not trying to say this is turnkey, beautiful model home, and I wrote it in the description, needs repairs, needs carpet paint, needs new appliance, but agents didn't. I learned a lesson. Agents don't read, apparently don't read your description. Look at the pictures, the price, the area, square footage, right? So I would tell everyone, but anyway, I ended up selling to an investor. So there was an opportunity where the investor felt he could go in and just do some new appliances, carpet paint, it was cosmetic repairs. And they just removed all contingencies. So again, look for that opportunity, because they're out there.
Investment makes sense, even if the numbers are not here right now, down the road it will be.
Oh, I totally agree. You just have to make sure that you don't overextend, because if the market adjusts, it usually does eventually, right? Then you just want to make sure you can make those payments. You can cover those payments if you're renting it out or if it's an investment property. So you have to be just one investment at a time, and then hopefully it works out where you start to pay that down and pay it off where you're okay, and then the rent becomes a positive cash flow for you when you're all old, like me, older. Yeah. So
You look good. You look really good.
thank you, sweetie. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. No, it's real estate is a great career. It's not an easy career, but I always say if you suit up and show up, you're going to be fine. You are, because if you're out there, no matter what you're doing, but you're just active, you're not going to meet people from your home, right? But if you're out there in the community, or going to Little League games with your children, going to your church activities if you belong to a church, whatever it is you do, a ladies club, a bridge club, whatever your interest is, a bowling league, as long as you're talking to people and meeting people, your friends, family, your sphere of influence, you're going to end up meeting people who want to buy and sell real estate with you. You absolutely are. It's inevitable. Open houses were a big deal. and helped me tremendously in my career over the years. I used to do them every Sunday, 1 to 4 p.m. So I don't know how that's going to go today. The buyer broker agreements. We talked about AHAs, build your expertise, become the real estate expert, learn the market, learn your clientele, listen to individuals, keep the headlines in context. Well, we talked about, I think, at great length, learning the market. So, learning your clientele. Your clientele can be your sphere of influence. I know you probably have all heard the SOI, which is sphere of influence. So it's your past friends, family, people you know, people you've done business with, and you want to put them in command and stay in touch with them. In my real estate career, we didn't really have command. I had a database, but I would do monthly. This is very old school, but it worked. I would do monthly mailers, like postcards to my farm, calendars every year, once a year. I don't know if people really want calendars anymore because they have them on their phone, right? But I have magnet calendars on their refrigerator every single year. I cannot tell you how many people kept those calendars in my business card and would stick them on their refrigerator, and I'd come to their house and say, oh, we love our calendars, we love them, we keep them every year. So you can also send out today, if you don't want to do calendars, like I would have my assistant prepare a list of local phone numbers with JDs for churches, restaurants, theaters, hospitals, shopping, LPAC theater, movie theaters, and maybe have that on a list on a magnet and mail it out again. That's what I did, and people loved it. But it's so different today with the technology because they could just Google those numbers. So, yeah, maybe just going to command and sending them, emailing them market statistics, and just getting. Again, it's old school, but yet at the same time, real estate is the same thing. It's connecting and establishing a relationship with people who know you and trust you as a realtor. So whether you're in command, emailing, making phone calls, door knocking was never my thing. Holding open houses or meeting them face to face at the door and giving them, do you know what's going on in your community? Are you thinking of buying or selling? No. Well, here's a list of some active pendings recent solds in your neighborhood and giving it to them. If you don't door knock, then email it to them, right? Have your email and keep in touch with them regularly. They can ask you to be removed from the email list, or they might contact you if they're seeing your emails every week or once a month, whatever you do. Then a year later, they might call you. That's what used to happen with my postcards that I would mail out monthly to my farm, my neighborhood, and Rancho Vista golf course. I got a lot of listings from just keeping in touch with people and mailing them things constantly and doing open houses there. So name recognition. People like to work with someone that they recognize the name. So, know your lore. It all starts with the language of real estate. Know your business. Notice changes over time in your personal business. Learn your clientele. I think we kind of just talked about who are your buyers, who are your sellers. Have you started doing a database?
Yes.
Putting them in? Okay, because we're going to come to that where you have time to work on it. Does your market benefit your clients? I think JD mentioned that. Like, I believe in investing in real estate, buying long-term, even selling today. People have a lot of equity, so it's a great market for buyers or sellers because you still have a tax write-off and you're a homeowner. If you're going to go rent a house, what are you going to pay? $2,500 to $5,000 a month to rent a house today, so it's better to buy and have a tax write-off. Does the market put your clients at risk? Well, if a buyer asks me today what I thought was going to happen with the market, I would say no one knows what I've said to you. I would tell them the truth. No one knows for sure. the market is overdue for an adjustment. However, the market does go up and down, but I can tell you with 100% certainty, I believe in investing in real estate, and long term you're going to be okay. Just make sure you can afford the payment and that we'll find you a house that you absolutely love. If you're thinking about buying it just to sell it in 2 years and make money, I can't guarantee that. No one really knows what's going to happen in the next 2 years, but if you're buying it to live in and enjoy the home, have a tax write-off, and be a homeowner, and planning on selling it sometime in the future, it's absolutely a great investment for you, 100%. So I kind of say, because I buyers ask, should I wait? Do you think it's going to adjust? Should I buy now? Yeah. I mean, they say buy the house and marry the house. I see this a lot on Facebook. Marry the house, date the rate. Because if the rates come down, they can always do a refinance, right? Yeah. The 2020 to 2023 was a huge refinance market. A lot of people, even if they didn't sell, they refinanced their homes and got a lower payment, lower interest rate. Listen to individuals, take a grassroots approach, learn where your spear gets information, and be present. And again, that's kind of what we've talked about. You want to be the real estate expert and be able to talk to your clients any questions that they have about the market, about the economy, about loans, about interest rates, about population, about inventory, about days on market. Keep the headlines in context. Read past the headlines and know your numbers. Any ahas on that?
I think that actually goes all the way back to the statistic that you pulled about animal value and how it's going to increase by a million. That's huge. Because that means no matter what the interest rates are going on, it doesn't matter. It's still, we can still continue and it's still going to be, it's going to be okay.
Right.
So, because the demand of the houses are going to increase. So.
Yeah, it's always supply and demand. And the builders are still building, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of communities that they're building out here.
What's going on in Ridgecrest? Are they building out there?
Not a lot of building.
Not a lot of building.
Actually.
That might be a good thing, because then the supply and demand and inventory is probably lower.
Yeah, this custom homes, there's no like big lots going. In the old days, it was crazy. Cal City was going nuts too. Yeah, this hasn't happened in a long time.
Individual builders in Cal City.
Yeah, a lot, yeah.
A lot.
Started Rogan.
Yeah.
Cal City started building.
Yeah.
Was there a boom before?
Yeah, in like the 80s was nuts.
Really?
Oh god, it was crazy. Same with Ridgecrest. I guess probably everywhere.
Yeah.
Not Ridgecrest right now.
I have a question.
Yes, yes.
What type of gift do you give when they purchase a property or a house from you? What type of gifts do you give?
It depends on the client, but most of the time I like to buy from Wine Country gift baskets. I just started one, and I like to give them if I think they drink, it's fine, because it's just it's goodies and wine. If I'm not sure, then yeah, they have baskets that don't have wine. If I know they drink and they've mentioned it, oh, we're gonna go home and have a cocktail or go have a glass of wine, then you kind of know if they never mention it. If not, I like to give them, like the one buyer I had, they had a built-in barbecue in the backyard that he was super excited about, and so I bought him a barbecue tool set and a $100 gift card from Lowe's, and because he had never mentioned alcohol, and I didn't think he really drank. I still don't know. I never asked, but he loved it. He loved the barbecue. He said, "We barbecue all the time. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you." And I stay in touch with him, even though we closed a month ago. He had a couple questions about the house, so I would reach out to the listing agent, and he would reach out to the seller. So went to Idaho and got back to us. Just about some exterior lights, if they were motion detectors or being monitored, and things about the alarm. A couple of questions about the pool. But the agent got back to me, so I stayed in touch with him. But he said they're barbecuing all the time, and thank you so much for the gift. And Lowe's is his favorite store, so
Oh,
yeah,
that's good.
you kind of do whatever.
Thank you.
A very quick question. How did you make your open houses so successful? And how did you follow up with the leads that you met from your open houses?
Yeah, I hesitated to teach a class when JD asked me because I thought I was never a technology-based agent, and it just was so different. In most of my super active years, it wasn't so much just all websites and social media. You know, that all came to fruition, but as you said, the open houses, I'm gonna date myself, but we used to advertise in the Valley Press. We'd put ads in that, and I just put signs out everywhere. And I would put the open house on the MLS. I would have flyers. Back then you had a flyer at every single house, and I'd have a sign-in booklet. Now they say you put them in command, right? You have them on your phone and add them to your database or your app. But I actually had a sign-in booklet that would just have their name and phone number, email, if they're working with the realtor. And then I would follow up with them. You can always tell, I'm sure you can tell even today, if someone really wants to work with you and they need a realtor, they want a realtor, you're gonna know. I didn't really chase people that if they're resistant and they don't want to give you the information and they already have a realtor, they just want to look at the house and go, then I kind of let that go. But I was there and I was ready with the information about the market, about the house. I'm happy to work with you. Are you thinking about selling or just buying? And try to have a conversation with them. You kind of know, same thing today, that hasn't changed. If they want to talk to you and have a conversation with you and they're telling you they don't have a realtor and they definitely want to buy, they have a house to sell, then I would try to set that appointment right away. Like, oh, I can be there tomorrow, 4 p.m. or 6 p.m. and get that market evaluation and go over and meet with them and hopefully list their house, especially if they needed. It was a big deal back in the day for people to sell east side and buy west side. There was a lot of that going on for 5 to 7 years. So it depends on where you are in the market, but the same holds true. Just try to get their information and put it in command, put it on your app, or you can even have them sign something if you feel more comfortable to do that and get their phone number. But I think you can tell, right, if people really want a realtor, they're just curiosity seekers. They live in the neighborhood and they just wanted to see the house and what the pricing was. Yeah. Does anyone want to share about their experience with open houses recently? Have any of you met a client through an open house?
Yeah, that's how I'm getting my first transaction right now. He came in my open house, pre-approved. I got that conversation going. We were looking at houses together. Then he drove back home and I emailed him a full list of houses, and then he sent me his pre-approval, and then we went from there.
Wow, look at you. See, it does happen.
I think I struggle with just following up with everyone I meet in the open houses. Like, I do good for like the first couple weeks, but then after that I kind of lose that momentum because I just don't know, like, should I email them next? Should I text them, call them, and what do I talk about? You know, what do I send? So that's where I struggle with just keeping in contact with everyone I met.
I have to tell you, the truth is, I was really, really good. My field of expertise was more of like people that are ready to go now, people that are motivated. Because if they weren't ready for 2, 3, 6 months, I'm not the right person for that. Again, I would put them in my database, give them to my assistant back then when I had a full-time assistant, and we would mail them things, and sometimes they would come back around to me. But if they really weren't ready, I wasn't constantly calling them, emailing them, texting them, because I just didn't, you just don't know. Like, if there's someone very specific that tells you a time frame, we definitely are going to buy in 6 months, but we can't sell our home yet because we have to wait 2 years or whatever it is. We're cleaning up our credit. Then that's what we're staying in touch with. But for me, someone who really doesn't know or has, I wasn't ever, I'm not the right person to tell you. what to do. What do you guys do with that? If someone who's really not motivated, not serious now, how do you keep in touch with them? One.
So we typically do the 7 touches. So like you do a call, text, email, send them a letter that's 4. I'm gonna invite them to a pop-up that's going on around 5, and then you figure out 2 more, like an activity that's going around, or just a call again, or invite them to your next open house. So I would do the 7 touches just to keep the ball rolling, and then maybe try to afford like family occupation, dreams, and recreation. So I would say that. That's what we typically do. Yeah.
Got the 7 touches, right?
Yeah, I get it too. Like,
it's really good.
have issues with the open house follow up too, like, or I lose the number.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, right. If you're same thing, if you're just busy, it depends. And what the timing is, if they're motivated, but the 7-touch system is good. I would put them in a database and then just send them mailers and hope that they would call me. They would reach out to me when they were ready. But the whole key is, I think even today, even though it's different with internet, social media, Facebook, whatever you're going to do with your marketing, it's still just, it's the same thing. What we said in the very beginning, what JD reiterated on the first screen, is everyone has done it. It's a little different today with technology, but yet it's the same thing about your sphere of influence, keeping in touch with people, and it's a relationship-based business. They still need you, but they have to know you and they have to trust you. Huh? Right? So, okay, utilizing the apps, the KW apps, and command. I think that's something that is not something that I do today in command. I'm very blessed with, maybe Armando heard me, maybe he was listening to talk about that. I was very blessed to, 2 weeks ago, I had 6 homes in escrow, which is a lot for me, and it's a lot in this market. So I felt extremely overwhelmed and busy every day, but I was happy too. But what I can tell you, the reason I brought that up is that if you want to know, like, where does my business come from today, one was a referral from an attorney that I knew, a family law attorney, and they were divorcing. One was a referral from a friend, realtor that moved to Oregon, Ken Mitchell, and he had a friend client, referred him to me, very expensive, $930,000 house, but we split the commission. He asked me up front, so we're doing it 50-50 split, but I thought, okay, I'll go list and try to sell it, so that worked out. The other one, told you, what's the guy that I've known for many, many years on the east side, the fixer-upper home, was going through, and unfortunately a divorce. They didn't want to put any money into it, so we sold it $500,000 as is condition. The other buyer that bought the house I told you about, West Lancaster, was someone that I met and sold their house last year, and they rented for a year. So then they decided to buy again now. The other one were my tenants of one of my investment properties. That doesn't happen often, but they decided they wanted to buy a home. So they contacted me and said, could we get out of our lease? And because they had signed a 2-year lease, and it worked out. I worked with them. It wasn't easy. We worked together 6 months, so everything isn't always easy. But they ended up buying a home, the one with the 5 offers, and just closed escrow last month, a few weeks ago. So that worked out. So the reason that I'm telling you this is not to be braggadocious, right, about the 6 homes I had, but to say that my sphere of influence of keeping in touch with people, mostly my business today is referral based. It's referrals from either past clients or friends or people that I know. Yeah, that's right. The other one, I'm selling a house in Quartz Hill, and she's buying a home in West Lancaster, and I helped her buy that home 2020. So she came back to me because they wanted to sell and go into a single story. So I had kept in touch with them, just occasional mailers. So whatever you do with the social media, your website, command, emailing, that works because I kept the relationship with her. I didn't hang out with her and see her regularly, but she did come back to me and she ended up selling Ambi. So I was very fortunate. So I've said it 10 times, maybe 5 times. It's a relationship-based business. So whatever relationships you can establish with your friends, family, business associates, church, T-ball, whatever, if you have kids, whatever your kids' activities, whatever they're into, then they want to know you, like you, and trust you as a realtor. So however you can, stay in touch with them. And I think that 7 Touch, as you said in command, is probably the best way to do that today. But there's many things you can do, right? I think there's some realtors out there that still just do traditional mailers, by the way, because I get them. I receive them. So I know they're still doing that, but I think you're seeing less of that today than you were, right? 5, 10, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. That's what we did. We mailed, right?
I can also add for you too, on the subject of command. For a lot of you guys in the room, I know you guys are tech savvy, but you guys can set your people up on auto-save searches that can be sent through the contact portal with command. So if you were to open their contact, let's say Leslie's in my database, she let me know at the open house that she's looking for something in East Palmdale. Yeah, let's say East Palmdale, maybe has a pool, 4 bedrooms or whatever. You can create, let's say, search in command, and then it'll be, depending on the frequency you want it to receive it, they can get it every week, every 2 weeks, or every month. So if you guys need help with anything like that, I can help you set that up. You can do it through the MLS too. It'll have like all of the how to say.
But like that it saves everything's saved in one place.
Yeah. But the cool part about the one with command, it has a lot more. It's more appealing to look at. I would consider it because it's branded to you. It has your info. It has your picture, and if there's any interaction on there, the MLS won't tell you what they're liking, what they're viewing, what they're seeing. In interacting within the page, it'll tell you this person was looking in the section of the school. This person, you know what I'm saying? So there's little parts of the engagement that are found within the page that you'll be able to figure out what exactly for their interest. So if you guys have questions on that, you guys can always ask me.
When you put the information on what they're looking for in the house, and it gives them recommendations on houses to send them, or it sends them houses, where does it pull from? Is it pulling from our MLS?
It pulls from every MLS. So the fortunate part for you guys being part of Keller Williams, since we're interconnected, our KWLS, which is like our command-based MLS, which is kind of what you guys would consider it similar to Zillow. It's interconnected with every MLS. So sometimes you'll see listings that are not listed in GAVAR that people from SRAR, Christat, whatever location.
Put them in both MLSs in order to make that one.
Exactly, because remember, your primary isn't somebody else's primary. So typically, if agents are from out there and they're like, "Oh, I don't want to pay for GAVAR. I want to continue paying just for the SRAR membership that I have." They won't take not a lot, but you will see them. That they'll have them listed on their MLSs, but you won't see them on GAVAR. So just to keep it open and still have more results, I would recommend you guys use your KW app or your website and stuff to send them stuff, because you will find a lot of hidden treasures throughout the site. Just wanted to throw that out there. Sorry, Leslie, didn't mean to derail you.
No, not at all. I said I'm glad you came in when you did, because I've been honest with them that command and technology based is not the way I run my business. It's more referral and people I know and old school mailers, right? Having open houses. But yeah, it's the same thing, Armando, as far as relationships and keeping in touch with people, which I've said numerous times. If they know you, like you, and trust you, they're going to work with you. But you still need to know the contracts, know real estate, know the market, the inventory, represent their best interests, negotiating, explaining the appraisal contingency, inspection and loan contingencies on every contract, and what those dates are, how to remove those contingencies, when to give a notice to perform, demand to close escrow. To go by the contracts, you want to know those like the back of your hand. Those I do know, and those have changed a little bit, but not significantly, even in the last 27 years. Those contingencies that a buyer has, as far as every buyer has an appraisal, an inspection, and a loan contingency for 17 days. Most end up taking 21 to 25 days to completely remove all the contingencies, especially on the loan with unconditional loan approval, because it's a process they go through. So they could be pre-approved, but you don't have full unconditional loan approval until you have your purchase contract, your title report, your escrow instructions, your appraisal, the bank statements, the W-2s, the recent paycheck stubs. This whole entire package goes to an underwriter who reviews it once you're in escrow. And then they're going to go back to the borrower through the lender, review it, and ask for updated documentation and VOEs. You say, what's a VOA? I've never heard of that. It's verification of employment. They're going to do that at least twice during the escrow. Right? That's what a lender's going to do. That's what an underwriter is going to ask for. They're going to ask for an updated bank statement. They're going to ask for updated paycheck stubs. So the more that you get into real estate and the more that you sell, the more you're going to understand the process of once you're in escrow and what's going to happen. So this business, you can always learn. You can always grow. There's always issues and things to work out. Again, once the inspection's done, making sure your buyer understands. On a purchase contract, the property is sold and is present as its condition as when you wrote the purchase contract. Make sure you tell your buyer that. It's very, very important because they think, okay, we're going to do an inspection and give them a list of 15, 20 repairs. No, that's not what it's for. A home inspection is to make sure that there aren't any major issues with the property, like the roof, like the air conditioning isn't working, the appliances that you need a new oven or gas range burners out, or the air conditioning doesn't work. It's for major issues. It's not for any cosmetic repairs. It's not for paint or carpet or countertops or new toilets. It's not for any of that. It's for health and safety issues or major repairs only. And most properties you're not going to have those issues with. But when you do, you're going to learn with every escrow what's reasonable, what to ask for, and what you can negotiate, especially if it's a roof issue, right? So any questions on that? On the contingencies? Oh, do you want to? Okay,
I'll be right back.
Come back in case you want to talk about.
Could you go over those forms again, the paychecks that, what all do they need?
Okay. I'm not a lender. I don't like when people are the buyer's agent and a lender because I think it's a conflict of interest, but I do have one right now that he's both, because then who do you call? There's a problem. Who do you really find out the truth from about the escrow and what's going on, and if there's an issue with the loan? But a lot of times it works out, but I just like it to be a different person. So with that being said, I know about it, but your lender will give you that. Exactly. Once your lender talks to a buyer, and if they're willing to fill out a loan application, they have to get authorization to run credit. So to find out what their FICO scores are. And based on their income, they're going to tell them debt ratios, what they qualify for as far as a house payment with principal, insurance, tax, and interest. They're going to tell them that. So there is a list. I don't know every single item, but yes, it's usually like 2 years tax returns, minimally 2 months of bank statements, recent paycheck stubs, right? Credit report and loan application. That's to start.
Thank you.
Right? But a lender has usually a verification and a list of what they're going to need. And then it's very difficult because they scrutinize everything for the loan. And they're going to be working on that loan throughout the process of escrow while you're getting your appraisal done and while you're getting your inspections done. Sorry, I clicked away from the Zoom people. So then you could be, hopefully your appraisal comes in at value, what's required, lender required repairs, you have to address because they need that for the loan. It could be something simple like smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors. Smoke detectors have to be in every bedroom. Carbon monoxide detector has to be in the house. One upstairs, one down if it's a 2-story home. So you want to, I wouldn't mention this at the listing appointment. Some agents do, but I would definitely mention that soon, once you list it, and certainly when you have a purchase contract, we need the smoke detectors to all be in working order, carbon monoxide detectors to be in the house, one upstairs, one down. and the water heater has to be strapped and braced according to current codes, strapping on the upper part and lower part of the water heater and a TPR valve. So minimally, you want to at least have them address those items. The door from the garage to be self-closing, because that's usually a firewall. So these things you're going to learn again with every transaction. If you don't know them, it's okay, because worst case, the appraiser's going to call these things out, and then you can address them with your seller. But if you can do those things up front, it's better, because then the buyer doesn't have to pay for, now it's $150 for a re-inspection fee if they have to go back, right? So the more that you are, again, education, learning and growing, training, classes with every escrow, that you learn these things so that you can educate your sellers or your buyers, right? Okay. So the KWAV now and social media, we're just talking about everything on the under required repairs and knowing the appraisal, inspection, loan contingencies. But to finish up, Armando, we're going to establish our business on social media. I read this last night that they recommend you do at least 10 posts a day to like them. Like 10 posts a day. If you're going to do your social media for your leads, we've talked about this a lot. If you're going to mail, if you're going to email, if you're going to have a website, if you're going to do social media, Instagram, Facebook, just command and stay in touch with your database, however you choose to do that. Write up to at least 5 comments a day, and send 1 direct message a day to your sphere of influence in your social media. Daily system success, number of conversations. Again, it's talking to people, at least 10 conversations a day, 10 contacts added, 10 handwritten notes, that's a tough one, 10 5-1 social media engagement, the 10 likes, 5 comments, and 1 post, enrichments. Study your markets in a report. We've gone over that a lot. It's always good to preview homes when you have time to know the market. Take an MLS course, visit and hold open houses, study the language of real estate. We've talked a lot about open houses today and it's changing. Read the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. What else? That's a lot. But if you do all that, you're going to be extremely successful.
And just make sure that you guys are keeping track of your goal, what your goal is, and if you guys were able to complete it on your actual book. So remember, it was it 10-5-1, right? So
Yes.
10 likes, 5 comments, and 1 DM. So make sure that that also will fall into the this category for you guys right here. But these enrichments, if you guys are confused as to what that is, these are just explaining what those enrichments are on your actual page that you see there. And not just that, but keeping track of your goals always will let you know whether if you're doing it or not. So I highly recommend you guys do it. Also, let me see here, just kind of wanted to add to that because I know I don't want it to be missed. If you guys don't have any 10 people to send the handwritten letters to, send a message, send a text. You know what I mean? Just keep the interaction there, whether it's telephonic, in person, or through the mail, like you said.
Exactly. Email,
Just wanted
command,
to add to that.
mailers, phone calls, texts. I've mentioned so many ways you can meet people and socialize and stay in touch with people. And referral businesses, I feel like that makes or breaks my entire real estate career. And of course, you have to start somewhere. You can't be like at the beginning, oh, I'm going to have referrals. But hopefully for you, the longer you're in this business, the more people you know, that the more referrals come your way by your sphere of influence and whoever you have in your database. Or a farm. Even if you're like, I don't know a lot of people, I don't know what to do, then start a farm. You know, pick an area that you're just going to stay in touch with. That might be old school, but people used to go out and they'd have like garage sales, estate sales in the neighborhood, or go have a snow cone truck and invite all the people in the neighborhood and do monthly mailers and postcards, whatever they did, or emails. So get to be like your neighborhood expert, door knock the neighborhood, bring in the market statistics, run a basic CMA and give those out. or mail those out. That could work too. If active pendings, recent solds, whatever you do, is just getting your face and or especially your name in front of people so they think of you. When they think of real estate, they think of you. Right? Any ahas on that? Staying in touch, command, comments, questions.
Is that
Okay.
the final slide there for us?
The recap, know your market. We talked a lot about inventory, the type of market, interest rates, economic factors, other market factors, learning the market, learning your clientele, building your expertise by listening to individuals, keep the headlines in context. So I think finally we're going to just talk about ahas to achievement. Does anyone have anything that they want to comment on or question, concern before we wrap up? For Armando
Do you guys have
or
any questions
myself?
for your daily success system on what you guys are supposed to be doing every day on these days of Big Night? Or you guys kind of have it down? Yeah? I'll be checking up on you guys to make sure you guys are doing it.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
He will be, him and JD for sure. Yeah, and that's important too. You definitely want an accountability partner. If you don't join a team or a group, then you want somebody who's going to hold you accountable to follow up on your systems and how you're doing. And like you said, being someone at an open house, now you're working with them. Have they written an offer?
Oh yeah, we're in escrow right now.
You're in escrow.
Yeah.
Oh, what did you That's amazing. See, it really does work, getting yourself out there. Like you have to meet so many people and maybe send so many mailers or do command or emails or talk to a lot of people before it turns into an escrow. It doesn't always instant, it's not always instant success that you're gonna be able to help somebody buy or sell, but just hang in there. And if you keep doing all these things, again, this is the best office and the best training center that you could be at, in my opinion, anywhere here, Tehachapi, Antelope Valley, because Ridgecrest, because of our systems. So you're in the right place, you're in good hands, and just don't give up. And I'll tell you, I'll end with, even though I've been very blessed to have a pretty successful career and be a top producer over the years, not as much today that I haven't in years past, but I would say, I'll tell you the truth, my first sale and my first escrow, it was 6 months. I did not have overnight success. I'm not trying to discourage you. I think it should take that long. You have someone like Thomas Velasquez who comes in the first month, had 3 homes in escrow. So everyone's a little bit different, but I guarantee if you do everything that we've talked about today, you will have success in real estate. And just follow up, stay in touch with people, keep, especially your sphere of influence, whatever your field of expertise is, by command, email, mailers, open houses, but just once they know you, like you, and trust you, they're going to work with you.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's really appreciate it. We appreciate you giving us some time today.
I wish you all success.
So much. And for always being here. We really do appreciate you so much. I know it's always a time crunch trying to get all of this stuff situated. But we have a team meeting, everybody. So if you guys want to hang out, we are going over some contract updates. They're going to be going over how to get an REO certification and a few new announcements for you guys to see. So if you guys want to hang out, we will be going over that, okay?
Yay.
Not right away. We'll give you guys a break. I know you guys were in here a minute.
Thank you, everyone on Zoom.
Thank you guys on Zoom. We'll see you guys.
Thank you, Carol. You're welcome. Bye.